Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Can I ask the Minister if a £2,000 grant yet to be accessed by many sports organisations is actually enough for sports clubs to survive COVID-19, and if the Northern Ireland Executive has established a return to sport expert group to work with Irish and UK government return to sport groups to support sports clubs in Northern Ireland to return to practice?
Yeah, I suppose there's never enough money in terms of the need that is there, and I suppose what we're trying to do, we quickly released the 750,000. We have obviously suspended that at the moment, but I would like to get that started again as soon as possible, if I can get the money available to me. Obviously, what we're trying to do through this pandemic, we're not going to meet all of the needs. It's a bit like the charities funding or any funding that comes forward. We have to look at what is critical in terms of overhead or costs that we need to keep these organisations going through the midst of this pandemic. And that's the assessment that we're doing at the moment. So it won't be to meet all of the costs, and indeed there will be some organisations that will need it more than others, depending on what their output or their makeup, or depending on what their overheads are. So we're looking at that at the moment. As I said, I've obviously written to the Economy Minister as well in terms of the business support grants that are available, that they should be available to sporting organisations for their business element, for those that have it. We obviously know as well the furloughing scheme has obviously assisted many sports organisations and sporting codes who have been able to furlough their workers, and I have to say who then have in turn been out on the streets on a daily basis responding to the pandemic, so they just haven't went home and put their feet up. They have been working tirelessly in terms of responding to that. My officials are engaging with officials in England, Scotland, Wales and indeed in the South in terms of looking at a programme as we start to move into a period of opening up again, that we're looking to see how we can do this. Obviously the North-South is going to be critical as well, because a lot of the sports are played across the island on an all-Ireland basis also. So we need to make sure that there's synergy there, and we're going to continue to do that. As we move through that, we'll obviously update the Executive. We're working with the Chief Medical Officer and the Scientific Officer to look at easements that if we are trying to get people back out onto playing pitches and playing sports, that's done in the safest way. Because I suppose the main thing, coronavirus is still here. People are still losing their lives, and obviously any return to these activities has to be done in a managed way, and ensuring the public health and safety is number one. But we'll be continuing to liaise with all of them in the time ahead, and indeed as I have more announcements, I'll make those in due course.
I call Matthew O'Toole.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. As many others have said, it's admirable the amount of work that the Department of Communities has done